Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization, and today we are going to do a dresser organization for our new baby who is hopefully arriving in a few months here. So I'm starting to get ready and prep the dresser because we moved our son Owen to his big boy room just down through the bathroom there. There's a Jack and Jill bathroom. This was previously his nursery, and I went back and forth, but I decided that I'm just going to keep this room the nursery, keep it pretty much as is, and just give it a good organizational refresh. And there are a few lessons learned from having a baby in here before that I am upgrading in terms of organization. So before, all I had on top of the dresser was the little diaper caddy with diapers, and I didn't have anything in the dresser beyond clothing, sleep sacks, and extra sheets and blankets and things like that. I didn't have any diapers or other items really. So I want to add some extra backstock diapers in here to make it very simple to refresh and restock that acrylic diaper caddy that I have on top, as well as some wipes. And then I think I'm also going to find some space, hopefully, to add in burp cloths and stuff, but I still have that in the washing machine. I am washing a lot of the clothing. I have already organized it and sorted it just because as Owen grew out of sizes, I put them into bins in our guest room closet based on the size. And I have a lot of clothing and a lot of loads of laundry to do, so I washed them in loads just to keep them already separated so I didn't have to re-go through everything. And since Owen is almost 2, I have clothing all the way up to 18 months pretty much that he's grown out of, but I don't think I have enough space to load up the dresser with that many sizes of clothing. And I also don't want to wash everything at once because I want things to kind of be fresh for the new baby. So I've decided just to wash things that are newborn size as well as 0 to 3 months. And then as he gets a little bit older and we get closer to moving to 3 to 6, 6 to 9, or larger sizes, then I'll wash those as we get closer. But what I'm going to do in each category is basically just sort it on the floor like I'm doing right now. I like to do this when I'm folding laundry in general because it makes it a lot easier to just mentally get in the space of this is how I'm folding a sleeper, this is how it fits. So I'm going to do the same thing over and over and over again and then move to the next category of clothing. Also makes it easier to make the piles and understand how many of each item I have so I can account for space as I'm organizing the dresser. Dreaming of you. It's so fun going through all the clothing, and most of this, like 90-something% of it, is all of Owen's old clothing. So just reminiscing on all the outfits he used to wear when he was really, really little. And it makes me so excited for another baby to come and to use all of this clothing. And it's also just nice, the fact that we're having another boy and all of this clothing will work for baby number 2 as well. And I can save a lot of money that way and just take advantage of the clothing that we already have. I will say I have bought a few new outfits because I'm just excited about having 2 boys and having them match every now and then. So as I'm buying Owen some new clothing for the next size that he's moving up to, every now and then I've been tempted to look and see if they have a matching baby outfit for it. And I have bought a couple of new things. So there were a few items that I had to cut tags off of before washing. But again, most of this is just hand-me-down outfits. So much better than I speak, and I need to tell you. Something that I like doing in the newborn phase is you'll see I have a couple different piles of sleepers. I have the 2-way zippers separated into one category because those are our favorites. My husband really likes using the 2-way zipper sleepers because they're just so simple to change baby, especially in the middle of the night. And then I had another pile for ones that have snaps or more complicated openings, just because depending on the situation, I think both of us like to be aware of what we're grabbing. And it's been a while since we've seen some of this clothing, so it's hard to remember what has snaps and what has zips and all of that. So I like dividing it that way. And then I'm also making categories for some outfits that don't have feet on it, as well as separates, tops and bottoms. We're having a winter baby, so most things that the baby is going to be wearing in the newborn phase is going to just be sleepers. I don't find it super practical to have a lot of fancy outfits at the newborn phase, and I just want to keep them warm. I like to avoid baby socks because they can get kicked off or you can lose them, and then there might be a little gap between the pants and their ankle and the socks, so sleepers work really well. And if we do end up traveling and going to California where my parents are in the winter time and it's a little bit warmer, then it might be nice to have some of those outfits that don't have feet. But other than that, in Nebraska in the winter, it's mostly going to be just footed sleepers.
Best friend, yeah, it hurts a bit. I won't pretend that it doesn't matter that you're with someone else. That's why
I am going to film a separate video where I'm organizing the closet or reorganizing the nursery closet as well, so you'll see the types of outfits that I hang up versus the ones that I put into the dresser. But in general, most outfits I'm going to put into the dresser. Things that are a little bit nicer, those I end up hanging, or sometimes matching sets I will hang if they're thicker or anything like that, but that's few and far between when it comes to the newborn size. In the newborn section, I had space for just a few socks. I don't have a lot of newborn socks, as I mentioned. And then I also have space for swaddles. I have a few different swaddles. Some are very specific to the newborn age, and then others can really last a long time, but I'm going to put them in the newborn drawer just so I have them. I like putting things in the drawers corresponding with whatever size would be the earliest possible I would use it, just so I don't forget what I have. I love these drawer dividers because they're customizable. You'll see how I use them throughout all of the different drawers, and they have these inserts that you can add so you can have separated spaces within each row, or you can kind of use them as a way to keep your file folding upright as you pull out clothing when you file fold. Typically it should still stay standing if you have a nice tight fold, but sometimes things kind of flop over, and if you have the divider in there, you can use that as another way just to keep things upright as you go through and start pulling out clothing, and there's less in there to hold things upright. Even though I'm not washing everything, I did dump all of the clothing from the bins that I had in the guest room closet of Owen's into the dresser to get it out of the way and get it into the new space. I'm still going to fold and organize. It's probably a little bit of a waste maybe in your mind, but I like to have things neat and organized, and that way I can see what I have before I get to that size. So what you saw was I pulled out a lot of clothing that was just stuffed in that drawer. That is the 3 to 6 month clothing, while the 0 to 3 is still finishing up in the dryer. So I am going to do the exact same thing that I did with the newborn size and start sorting everything into categories, sleepers, separates, all of that, and get to folding. But I'm not going to bore you with all of the folding of this clothing as well. I'll check back in a second here, and you can see that I'm going to put it all away into a separate drawer for 3 to 6 months.
when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you. I fall into you.
This category seems like the one where I had the most sleepers, and I think it was because at this phase we had a baby that was just spitting up a whole lot, and I was going through laundry non-stop. So I'm grateful to have this many extra sleepers to go through, and most of them at this point we had learned that we really appreciated the two-way zippers. There were only 3, I think, outfits that were not two-way zippers, that were full body suits, and I ended up just putting them with the rest of the two-way zippers. And then I have some onesies and a couple of separate pieces that I also squished in there, and that drawer got full very fast.
The longing of my heart, the wish I carry high.
After 3 to 6, the 0 to 3 month laundry was washed and dried, doing the same process. You can see how I do the same thing over and over again. It is nice to have this type of a process. Sometimes I feel like it maybe wastes a little bit more time just having your hands on items multiple times. You would think if you just grab something, you might as well fold it, but I'm telling you, it does speed up the folding process to do the same thing, and it also speeds up the organizing process.
And I am on my way, when I'll be coming home. I wanna see you play.
There were also some burp cloths and bibs in this load, so I am going to get those folded first because I want to finish up the top drawer where I had the diapers and the wipes. I want to also have bibs and burp cloths there, make them a little bit more accessible than they were last time. I had them in the closet, and so often Owen would be on the changing pad and need a burp cloth, or we'd run in here quickly, or I'd be like nursing him, and it was just more of a hassle to go into the closet. So I think this will be more accessible, and I think I like having these acrylic bins in the dresser for this purpose so I can pull them out. Easier restock and folding of diapers and these bibs and burp cloths. The ones that have kind of the unique shape that I'm folding right now, they were all hand sewn by my mom, or I guess not hand sewn, I should say. She used a sewing machine, but she made all of these for me. I think she found some template online for burp cloths, and we have a lot of them, which is nice because it makes it so I don't have to do laundry as often. And then the rest that I'm going to put the opposite direction, I believe are mostly Burt's Bees brand, and then some few random bibs that are more the drool type bibs that collect like little bits of milk spit up and drool. Actual bibs for eating we keep in the kitchen, but these ones I used every now and then. We didn't really have that big of a drooly baby. I did register for a set of them, so I do have one little set there, and then a few other ones that we've gotten as gifts. And you never know what this baby's gonna be like, if we're gonna need more of them or we're gonna need more burp cloths or less or something, but this is what we have to start with. Not gonna buy anything else at the outset, and it fits perfectly in there, so that works.
When I look deep into your eyes, sky's beautiful and so are you.
Back to folding clothing. This process did take a long time, but I propped my iPad up and was watching TV while I was doing this, so it was kind of an enjoyable experience, just being able to sit on the floor, fold some laundry, watch a little bit of TV, and hang out, and like I said, reminiscing on all this cute little baby clothing.
It's like a long dream. You're on the wrong team. Oh, there's a light and there's a fire coming out of me. Every time I see one's a destroyer and one is a warrior, fighting hard to be the better part of me, the better part.
Also within each category, I don't know if you've noticed, I do try and organize it by color. Probably not necessary. It does look nice in the drawers that way. Every now and then there's a reason that I want to have a certain color outfit for our baby, but it also just helps knowing what I'm looking for. If I'm trying to find a certain outfit, I know where to look. He doesn't have that many things of clothing, so it's not impossible to find things, but any process you can do to make life a little bit easier in the future might as well.
It's like a long dream. You're on the wrong team.
Though I didn't mind the folding part of the process, my favorite part was the organizing. I loved playing around with these different dividers and figuring out how exactly I wanted it to sit in each drawer and in each size. And it always looked so pretty when I got it all in there. I think these organizers, like I said, do a great job, especially with the added dividers that you can put in there as well.
Coming out of me every time I see one to destroy, one is a boy fighting hard to be the better part of me, the better part of me, the better part of me, yeah, the better part of me.
So not only is some of this hand-me-down clothing from Owen, but we also got a fair amount of hand-me-down clothing from my brother and sister-in-law. I don't know if you've been following me for a while and you remember this, but my brother and sister-in-law have twin boys that are just 6 months older than Owen. So they were born the exact opposite season. They were born in the summer while Owen was born in the winter. Baby number 2 is going to be born in the winter. So they did give us a fair amount of clothing that their boys were done with. The only problem is because they're born opposite seasons, a lot of the newborn stuff is more summery outfits, and then once it gets more to a 6-month age, when it's time for my babies to be in short sleeve options, then they had a lot more winter gear. So it doesn't fully work out, but it's nice when we travel to have things of opposite seasons. So it's a fine balancing act here of how accessible I make the clothing that is for the alternative season that's not going to match up with our baby. And it also depends on the size and the month of the year, because sometimes within a size, weather might get a little bit warmer or a little bit colder, and there could be an option to wear a short sleeve item or an option to wear something that's a little bit warmer. So I did include most of the clothing, even if it wasn't the season that totally matched up with the dates for our new baby. Even after shifting Owen to his new room, I left a lot of the blankets in the nursery here just because babies use blankets a lot more than toddlers do. I brought over some blankets that were things that really reminded me of Owen, maybe had his name embroidered on it or had more of a big boy pattern on it, and split up the blankets a bit more. But in all honesty, most of them are still in the dresser here. I'm going to add a few more things into the dresser, like my boppy nursing pillow covers and some extra sheets and things like that, whether it's sheets for the crib or sheets for the bassinet. And you'll see when I open up the drawer, there are so many blankets and just enough room for those extra items.
It's hard to be, it's hard to be this real. We can play our favorite song, dancing to it all night long with you.
Last but not least, this bottom drawer, I am not going to use any organizers in here because this is going to be extra stuff. I'm not going to go past that 3 to 6 month size, but I do have some more sleep sacks as opposed to swaddles, so I want to have those accessible when our new baby is ready to transition from a swaddle to a sleep sack, just because that can be kind of early on. And then the last thing I'm going to do is label the drawers. This I did not do last time. I'm thinking we may have a nanny potentially on a temporary basis before there's an opening for daycare. Probably makes it easier for my husband, for Jim, to find what he's looking for. My parents are going to come here when the new baby's born and help out for a little bit. I could see our babysitter that we use coming here and not knowing where all of the baby stuff is. So it makes it a little bit easier just for anyone, even myself, to know where things go, where to find things. And these labels peel off so easily that I think even when I transition sizes, which is what I think I'm going to do when, let's say, the baby grows out of newborn clothing, I think I'm going to shift everything up. These labels you can peel off and just reaffix them wherever you want them. So I don't have to recreate labels every time I move something. I can just shift them around a little bit. So what I did was label each section, each row with what the item is, and I used a slash if there's multiple things in that to indicate the order of what's in that row. And then on the far left hand side of the drawer, I put the size there as well, so you can tell this is the newborn drawer or this is the 0 to 3 month drawer. And that would probably be the one thing I would forget the most without having to pull something out and look at the tag. That is it for today's video. I'm so happy with the way that this turned out. I can't believe how soon baby number 2 is gonna be here, and just how good it feels to start to have things organized, ready, and prepped. You never know when a baby is gonna arrive. Hopefully it's closer to 40 weeks, but just in case, we are getting super prepped over here. So make sure you stay tuned for other organizing videos if you're interested in that. If you're interested in more just in general, the mom side of things, maybe more about my pregnancy or how I'm getting ready for postpartum, things like that, I have a separate channel called Sophisticated Motherhood. All of that content will be over here. But until next time, I will see you guys later.